Let me start by telling you something slightly controversial. Most students who miss a star are not less intelligent. They're not bad at revision. They're not worse at remembering studies. They're just missing one thing. And it's so small. But that one thing is the grade boundary. Today, I'm giving you the closest thing to a cheat code in Edexcel A Level Psychology. Before we dive in, if you are serious about getting A or A star in Edexcel A Level Psychology, every single week I am releasing fresh essay examples to subscribers on the newsletter that give you model 8-mark and 16-mark essays. If you want more, then all you need to do is subscribe. It's very easy. Go to dabblesproductions.com. The link is below. Right, back to the cheat code. Here it is. Identification and justification. That's it. But those are big words I hear students say. Well, very simply, identification means your point. Justification means your evidence and explanation of why it matters. Identification is the answer. Justification is the reason that answer earns marks. That's it. Not rewriting the textbook, not writing down everything you know, not color coding your notes until they resemble modern art. Just this. Identify the point clearly and justify it properly. If you practice that every week with fresh model essays, your marks will jump. In Edexcel mark schemes, especially 8 and 16 mark answers, top band answers always do two things. They identify a strength, a limitation, or an explanation clearly, and they justify why it matters. Most students identify. A star students justify as well. The difference is depth. So let's test it across the different units. In social psychology, for obedience, explain one strength of Milgram's research. If you write identification only, one strength is that it was conducted in a controlled lab setting. Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't explain why it's a strength. Identification plus justification is one strength is that Milgram used a highly controlled lab setting, minimizing extraneous variables. This increases internal validity because we can be more confident obedience was caused by the authority figure rather than situational distractions. Do you see what changed? One extra sentence. But now you explained why control matters, you linked it to the conclusions, and you used technical terminology properly. That's justification doing the heavy lifting. Let's take an example from prejudice in social psychology. Explain one limitation of social identity theory. Identification only is it ignores individual differences. Cool. And the A star version would say a limitation of social identity theory is that it may overlook personality factors such as authoritarian traits, which can independently predict prejudice. This suggests that group processes alone may not fully explain individual variation in prejudice. Now, you've compared explanations, explained the impact, and shown depth. That is examiner bait. In cognitive psychology, an example from memory. Explain one limitation of the multi-store model. A weak answer. It's too simplistic. That will get you 0 marks. Examiners have seen that sentence 10,000 times, and I'm not exaggerating. A strong answer would be, one limitation is that it assumes rehearsal is the only route from short-term memory to long-term memory. However, flashbulb memory research suggests emotionally significant events can be encoded without rehearsal, challenging the model's explanation of memory transfer. Now, we have a specific criticism, research, and a clear challenge. That's not longer, it's smarter. Let's have a look at biological, specifically aggression. Explain one strength of the biological explanation of aggression. A basic answer, it has scientific data to support. From where? From vibes? The A-star answer says, one strength is that biological explanations are supported by research linking high testosterone levels to increased aggression. That's the identification. Because hormone levels are objectively measured, this increases the scientific credibility of the explanation. Now it's justification as well. You didn't just name the support, you explained why scientific evidence strengthens the theory, and that's justification. From learning theories, an example from Bandura. Explain one strength of social learning theory. It's supported by research. The strong answer would say social learning theory is supported by Bandura's Bobo doll study, which found children imitated aggressive models. This supports the idea that aggression can be learned through observation rather than being entirely innate. Now you've named the study, you've explained the finding, and you've linked it back. Identification plus justification. Every time. An example from child psychology on attachment. Explain one strength of Bowlby's monotropic theory. It's supported by research. Supported by what? By who? A pigeon? The A-star answer that combines identification and justification. One strength of Bowlby's monotropic theory is that it is supported by longitudinal research demonstrating continuity between early attachment and later social relationships. For example, Hazan and Shaver found securely attached infants were more likely to form stable adult relationships. This provides empirical support for the internal working model, increasing the explanatory power and validity of Bowlby's theory. Now you've added the idea of continuity, technical vocabulary, and explicit reference to validity. That's examiner-friendly language. Hopefully you can see the difference. Weak answers name support. A-star answers explain why that support strengthens the theory. That's identification and justification in action. Examiners are not impressed by buzzwords, long paragraphs, fancy handwriting, or vibes. They award marks for clear points, clear explanation, and clear impact. Identification gets you started, justification pushes you into the top band. The A-star formula. When writing AO3, ask, what is my point? Why does this matter? What does this mean for the theory or research? How does it affect conclusions? If you answer those four, you are writing like an A-star student. Remember what I said at the start. Students who know everything don't always get A-star. Students who identify clearly and justify confidently do. And now you know the hack.